Hello everyone, Econael here. After about a decade of inactivity on this channel, it's time to do some catching up. I've gone through the past couple of years and tried to reconstruct what games I've been playing. Some Discord servers with friends have been helpful for that. And I got as far back as 2022. A couple of years before, I wasn't playing as much, and also I was more into board games and card games. So here are my favorite games of 2022 in no particular order. First of all, The Forgotten City. That's a game that started off as a Skyrim mod and then got turned into a full-fledged game because of the popularity. Now, I won't be spoiling anything, and I urge you to avoid spoilers for this game because it's a game about solving a mystery. And it's more of a story game than an action game, even though it has FPS controls. There's very minor things that may be a little bit hectical, but not really. So would I still recommend it in 2025? Definitely yes. It's a quite short game. You see the main story takes about 6 hours. And yeah, give it a go. It's really good. Next game that I played a lot in 2022 was Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Now this game, as you see, has a ton of content. So the main story takes 55 hours. I think you'd be quite rushing, actually. Probably spend about 150 hours or something on this game. Now this is a very in-depth combat mechanics heavy game. So I would only recommend this in 2025 for hardcore RPG fans. What does it mean? So if you've played Neverwinter Nights, Baldur's Gate, etc., maybe a couple of them, maybe a couple other RPG games, and you kind of get bored by getting only like 10 classes to choose from, right? So you've played like Paladin and Druid and Mage and Wizard, and it's kind of always the same and not really challenging or maybe not interesting. Then this game is for you because it's very in-depth. But this also means it's only worth it if you invest a lot of time, because I'm reading some negative reviews where players who are not hardcore RPG fans say that they bounce off of it. And you can get some guides from Mortismal Gaming. He did a ton of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous content, and you can maybe this can help you get into the game a little bit. I would definitely suggest playing with mods. There's one particular mod that helps you with pre-buffing. So this game is real-time with pause, and it's super heavy, like especially the higher difficulties, but I think even the normal difficulty is quite difficult in general. And the game is kind of balanced around the idea that you buff all of your characters pre-combat. And this can get a little bit tedious in the late mid game and in the end game. So there's a mod where you can configure your pre-buffs and then just press one button and have all pre-buffs applied. I started using this mod way too late after it had already gotten tedious. So I suggest you play normally until the mid game so that you know what's going on. And then afterwards start using this mod, definitely. The game has not the best performance, so you'll probably be stuck playing at 1080p, but that's good enough. And what else is there to say? Yeah, there's this non-RPG game segment that the Owlcat Games is known for. So they had this in most of their games, and here it's like a little bit of strategy, top-down strategy, similar to like in Rome Total War, where you're like moving armies around. It's not very great. It's not the worst, and you can use some cheats to make this go a little bit faster, because the rest of the game is really interesting. There's a lot of content in the game. It's not just combat mechanics. It's also like story elements. The interesting thing about Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous is that once you hit, like usually in these RPGs, when your character hits level cap, then that's it. But in this game, there's I forgot what they're called. I will just say prestige levels, where you can then decide to level into like angel or demon, and there's like dragon and some evil stuff. And those are quite interesting. Like there was one particular path where you could then do some time travel and see some background of the story that was happening. And that's quite well done. Not all of them are equally well done. I would say the one that makes the most sense is the angel path, and that was the one that's the best, in my opinion. But the one with the time travel stuff is also great. And so there's a lot of things to find and figure out. Story-wise, the mechanics, like this is definitely a very combat mechanic heavy game, and if you're into that, you'll like it. There's bunch of very weird weapons that are so strong that they can completely define a build if they haven't been nerfed yet. And what's also quite usual for these kind of games is that the first few acts have way higher quality than the last ones. And I would say this is the case in Pathfinder as well. So like the first few acts are amazing, and afterwards it's okay. And the very last act was but I mean, it's not too long. Yeah? Like usually the last acts are not that long. So would I recommend it? Only for hardcore RPG fans. If you're not a hardcore RPG fan, then I would definitely suggest playing Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, but I'll talk about this in an upcoming video because it didn't come out in 2022. Alright, next game, Doom Eternal. So it has definitely better combat and gameplay than Doom 2016. So Doom 2016 had a more serious tone, had more focus on a smaller scale story that makes sense. Doom Eternal has a very different tone. It feels definitely more gamey in the sense of, hey, you have like extra lives and here's some floating ammo and armor and weapons and stuff like that. But if you're into gameplay more than story, then Doom Eternal is definitely the better game. I would for sure recommend it in 2025, and I kind of even feel like replaying it. There's some platforming, but you get used to it. It's not that bad. Like at first, I kind of bounced off of it because I was like, I want to play a shooter. I like a boomer shooter. I don't want to do platforming because generally, I'm not a huge fan of platforming in general, especially like first-person platforming. But I think it integrates well because in Doom Eternal you have a lot of verticality in movement, and you have to move around a lot, especially in higher difficulties. You have to move around a lot to avoid enemies, to avoid getting hit. And usually in these, I mean, it's not a boomer shooter anymore because it's quite more modern. I would say it's one of the best FPS shooters that you can play currently. The focus is still around picking the right weapon for the right situations, swapping weapons around, and then obviously like the modern Doom stuff that you're used to, where you have glory kills, where you can get health back, get ammo back, etc. It's not a very long game, but quite intense. And yeah, definitely recommend it if you're more into gameplay than the story elements. All right. Yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next game video where I will talk about my favorite games of 2023. Have fun. Bye.